Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Post-Crescent's Varsity Roundtable, a weekly look at high school sports in the Fox Valley area and the only live online high school sports talk show in the state. I'm Ricardo Arguello, part of the USA Today Network Wisconsin digital live stream team, and we are here in an amazing high definition at the mothership, the Post-Crescent, 306 West Washington Street, downtown Appleton. And this week our focus shifts to state wrestling, and we are here with two top grapplers from the area, from Xavier, Max Tran. Max, so go ahead and say hi to everyone. There we go. And directly to my right, we have Kaukauna's Mason Campshire. Guys are on board to talk about the great season that they've been having, what their expectations are. We go into the sectional level of individual state wrestling. And for Mason, we're going to talk about what his thoughts are about going to team state. That's for a couple weeks yet. But like we do before every show, I'd like to let everyone know that we're live and interactive. So if anybody's watching out there, and there could be billions watching us, guys, China's checking in, India. Log into that live chat. Give yourself a name. Don't be putting anonymous or guess, okay? Mac and Mason, they want to know who's answering these questions, or asking these questions, I should say. We got Brett Christopherson over there behind the Dell computer, getting those questions over to us right away. And then don't forget about Jim Rosendick behind the live stream machine, punching buttons. So what I like to do before every show, guys, is we've got to get some introduction. So farthest over to my right is Max Tran. Mac, this is actually when I want you to look into the middle camera. Let everyone know the weight that you wrestle at and how you got into wrestling. Go ahead.
I wrestled 220, and I got into wrestling. My dad wrestled his senior year, and he thought it was a great sport, and he wished he would have wrestled his whole life. So back when I was a youngin', I just started wrestling, and I've been wrestling ever since, having a blast. It's really just a great, tough sport.
Okay, good stuff. Mason, go ahead.
I wrestled 120, and I've just been on the mat ever since I could crawl. My dad wrestled, and just kind of rest his history from there.
You really had no option.
No,
In
no option at all.
And Kaukauna is a wrestling factory. If you have any questions, log into that live chat again, and we'll get these questions over to the guys right away. Again, don't be putting anonymous or guess. These guys want to know who's answering the question, all right? And ladies, don't be asking for numbers. We're not that kind of show. I know you want to, but let's start with last year. Now, Mac, you did take fifth last year at 220. Tell me about that journey to fifth. I remember interviewing you after, I think, the fifth place match, or maybe you could go into the fifth place match. What do you remember about your state experience back then?
It was like crazy that whole season. I was barely 500 my freshman year.
Okay.
I came into sophomore year with my coach, Coach Hippis,
Yep.
really emphasizing, like, you got to shoot more, you got to be more aggressive.
Okay.
And that's what I started doing. I started taking a lot more shots, working on my doubles and single legs, and things just started. I just started working out, and I was doing a lot better. And I wasn't ranked all year until I got to state, and it was really kind of like that underdog mentality to kind of try to put Xavier wrestling on the map.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting stuff. Now, how about for you, Mason? Now, listen, Mason, I know you were a little disappointed about what happened last year. I think you made it to the first round, and then did you fall in the first round?
I went 0-1 that first round.
How frustrating was that for you? Because I know you had worked so hard to get to that point. I know maybe that puts a little bit of a chip on your shoulder this year.
It was pretty frustrating. I obviously didn't happen how I wanted it to. I had a couple of slip-ups, and that kind of cost me the match. But I know leading into this upcoming year right now, it was kind of a big motivation to go way past what happened last year.
Now, you're ranked number 3 in D1 at 120 on WeWrestling.com. What have you done? And now I talked to Mac about this as well. What have you done, do you think, to improve from last year to this, or anything specific?
I think a big part of that is like my mind.
Okay.
Last year it was just kind of a break easy kind of thing. If got down in the match, you didn't score first, kind of broke a little bit. But this year, this off season, we did a lot of mindset training and just kind of that top dog mentality, your big chest, kind of be in the moment and know that stick to your stuff, you're going to do great.
All right, good stuff. Now, Mac, you're ranked 6th in Division II at 220. First off, both their weight classes, those are always pretty good weight classes in terms of the volume of wrestlers that are there. Can you talk about that? What have you done to improve from sophomore, anything specific to your junior year?
Like, I work hard in the weight room. It's really, really important to me for all my sports. And really just coming to wrestling this year, I'm just trying to tackle the other dude, basically.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a tackle. They're the ball carrier.
Okay,
if I think about it like that, then I'll just be able to impose my will and get that takedown no matter what.
Okay. Again, Mac, if you don't know, is one of the top recruits in terms of football. Recently, you visited Wisconsin. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Brett, do you have something from online? Looks like we have something going on. What do you have?
Well, great
Segue, okay.
because that's the first question that popped up to Mac from Cameron. How many football offers do you have? So they want to talk football on the wrestling show tonight.
So go ahead. You can list them all, Mac, if you're comfortable doing that.
I actually don't have any offers.
Okay,
from
so
schools,
he visited, yeah. Okay.
But I like getting a lot of interest from different colleges coming down and seeing me this spring and this winter, and I've been going to junior days and going to game day visits and just been in contact with a lot of these different coaches.
Has it been an exciting experience for you?
Yeah.
Kind of open your eyes a little bit how it's done?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Good question for online. Brett, did you have something else? Thoughts on reaching with the sectional round? Are you guys familiar with your opponents? Would you say, Mason, you're familiar with the guys who are all in your class? Can you talk about that? Is that a good thing, a bad thing, or is that the preference, I guess?
I think it just depends on how you look at it. I guess you got to take every match one match at a time, and we're familiar with these opponents. Bayport being one of the schools coming into our sectional, as a team for Kaukauna, we just wrestled them last night in team sectionals, so we're going to be kind of familiar with them. But everyone else is relatively familiar to us.
That's right, and their sectional, by the way, is that at Ashwaubenon? That's on Saturday for both these guys, and then at Connell Falls is the Division II area sectional. What can you tell me that about the weight class at yours? Are you same kind of thing? Are you familiar with the guys there?
I know of a lot of guys. Like I've heard their names around, and I've seen, like I haven't really seen any of them wrestle except for the guy who came from our regional.
Gotcha. Okay.
But like I know of their names from football or other wrestling events down at state. I've never actually wrestled any of them except for the kid from our regional.
Okay, so is that a good thing or bad thing that you go in? They don't know you either, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Like, just really, I really wrestle one match at a time.
Okay.
Like he said, like I can't be focusing on the championship. I got to get to the championship first.
Okay.
And that's really, so my biggest concern right now is just what do I need to do to win this first opening round of sectionals.
Okay, good stuff. Brett, you have something from online. All right, switch over to the internet. What do you have, Brett?
Yeah, this time Carson Smith for Mason. Are you looking to wrestle in college?
Yeah, that is a big one right there. I do plan on wrestling in college. I'm undecided where yet, but
is there a preference for you? I mean, you give away as much as you can. I don't want get too personal, but yeah, I mean.
There's a couple area schools. Carthage in mind is one of them, and then Grandview and Des Moines, Iowa, where my brother goes to school.
Well, fantastic. And now Mason is a senior. Have you thought about course of study or anything like that?
I plan on going to study exercise science.
All right, good stuff, Brett. Did you have something else from online? Let's talk about the coaches here. Now, do I have this? We all know Coach Machik. What can you tell me about Coach Machik that people might not know? I see you're laughing already, and I know Coach Machik pretty well. I've always, basically at his hip when it comes to the individual state tournament and team state tournament. So, what can you tell me maybe that people don't know?
He's a very outgoing, high energy character.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff, that's for sure. He knows each guy on the team very well too. So if everyone's got a different style, obviously, and he knows how to work well with all of us. I think he always has a game plan for everyone, and really helps us as a team overall.
Do you think he manages everybody? Because everyone has a different personality and stuff. Do you think that's one thing that he does well?
Yeah, I think he knows how to talk to us and communicate with us really well, and on a different level for each person.
Okay, good stuff. Now, am I saying his name right? Is it Gruel?
Groyle.
Groyle. Oh boy, I just completely butchered that. So, Coach Groyle, what can you tell me about Coach that maybe people might not know?
Well, Coach has just stuck by Xavier Wrestling's side all throughout the years of thick and thin, and really, like right now, we have really good numbers, as like close to 30 kids, but it hasn't always been like this. There have been years where we've had 3 kids.
Yes, I do remember those days. 1
kid, 2 kid, and he's always there, giving it all he can, just putting in for the kids on the team.
Okay.
And it's really neat to see him develop with each and every kid, try to get to know them, and just be there for them, and just teach them about life, not only wrestling. It's more than just a sport, really.
Let's stick with this topic, because I'm going to ask you about this too, because Kaukauna is obviously platinum status when it comes to programs, but Xavier's building How good does it feel knowing that? Do you feel like you're in the bottom of building something like a foundation of maybe Xavier year in year out is going to be competitive in terms of the numbers?
Yeah, hopefully, like for my class and the class ahead of us, but like in the class behind us too, but it really feels like we're some pioneers almost.
Okay.
Xavier wrestling's never been really popular. We had our first home dual meets last year, and we won our first home dual meet this year, and it just feels so great. Hopefully we can set an example for other kids who are in middle school at the different middle schools, and hopefully they're looking up and hopefully just thinking, hey, I wanna wrestle. I want to be out there on the mat scrapping.
Yeah. Now let's turn our attention to Kaukauna wrestling, and I've seen you guys win many state titles team-wise. Individually, you guys are always sending anywhere from 7 to 10, 11 guys. Being a part of that program, how much does that motivate you to do as well as your peers, as guys who came before you even? How exciting is that?
We always have a great program from top to bottom, starting with our youth. We give back as the high schoolers. Like we have our Clash of the Caspers with our youth program that we'll go ref and help out with. Just everyone kind of gives back to each other, and we help each other out. Those younger guys are obviously looking up to us, wanting to be like us one day, and I think that just kind of builds on us.
Fantastic. So, Brett, do you have something from online?
I do. Interesting
Go ahead.
question, maybe an unfair question from Wrestling Fan. Mac, what strategy would you use against Mason? And Mason, what strategy would you use against Mac?
Now, be well aware, there's about a 100-pound difference, or 80 to 100-pound difference between the two guys. We'll start here with Mason. What are you doing in this theoretical matchup?
I think I'm gonna just try and wear them down and tire them out, and then
Make them run around
get my
a little.
attacks on. Yeah.
Well, for you, Mac, you talk about how you approach just tackling guys.
I would probably keep a hand on the mat at all times and just kind of wrestle like a spider or something on the mat and try to keep them from shooting, and then shoot in like you said, just take them down, tackle them.
All right, interesting question from online. Brett, did you have something else? Let's talk about Team State for you, Mason. How excited are the guys to be going back? For those of you who haven't been to Team State, but I figure anybody who's watching has, Team State's a very cool setup in terms of it's after the individual state tournament. It's at the old field house in Madison. Cool environment. It's one of my favorite things to cover. Can you talk about that? How excited are you guys to be back there? Because you guys have won state titles there, and now you guys are coming in, probably one of the top seeds. You excited about what you guys can do to put on a show?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see, especially how we're performing this year as a team. I feel really confident going into this tournament that we can do really well. My freshman year was our last year we won Team State, so it's kind of that redemption too as a senior that I really want to get back and win and show everyone what we are.
Okay, great stuff again. Hey, let's take a timeout if you don't mind, guys. We're going to take a 30. I got to read off some promos, so just chill for a little bit. First off, Clubhouse Live. You guys Packer fans, Mac?
Yeah.
Come over here. I can't stand them. I'm a Bears fan, but I co-host a Packer show with Brett Christopherson right there, Jim Rosendick during the football season. This year, our co-host was a certain NFL touchdown leader, Aaron Jones. He was our co-host throughout the whole season. Good guy. I can't say anything bad about him. I'm embarrassment, but he's a great guy. But yeah, all your favorite Packers have been on the show. It's a free show every Monday, 6:30 p.m. Come check us out. Starting again in late August. Who's your favorite Packer, Mac?
I don't know. I kind of like Clay Matthews.
Oh, has Clay Matthews ever been on our show?
Nobody was at our sports awards.
Well, he
show.
was our sports award show co-host. Yes, he was that. How about for you, Mason?
Ooh, we're gonna go Ty Montgomery.
Ty Montgomery. He was our co-host.
Former, yep.
Former, but he was our co-host actually. Great guy.
Awesome. 2
Can't
years.
say enough about him. Great guy.
Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. Yeah, he's our Bam Bam. But yeah, good show. It is free. So come on in if you're in the area. You guys, whenever you guys want to come in, Monday, 6:30 p.m. Come and meet your favorite Packers, talk to them a little bit, ask them any questions that you might have. It's a free show, so come and check it out. It's the best Packer show. It's an award-winning Packer show. And you get to boo me because I'm the resident Bears fan. Podcast, R&B show. We were supposed to tape today. We're going to do it tomorrow, Brett, I promise. Tomorrow a.m. is the only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley. We're going to talk about you two on the podcast tomorrow. So be looking for that Thursday night. If you have an iPhone or any kind of phone, look for it on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. Become a subscriber, and it'll get delivered right to your phone every week. So please check that out. Again, the R&B show. Look for my name, Ricardo Arguello, and subscribe. Twitter. Now, Mac, you're on Twitter. Go ahead, give your Twitter account if you want.
Max Strand.
That's it. And Max Tran. Now, Mason was on Twitter, but then he said, nah, that's not my bag, right? That's
Yeah.
basically,
No.
he said, no way.
No way.
I'm at PC Ricardo. Brett said PC Brett. So you don't forget about Rosie at Metal Rosie. I love Twitter. It's my favorite social medium because when I'm at the tournament, I can immediately tweet results of both of you guys, and I will be doing that once we get over there in a couple of weeks. So please follow me at PC Ricardo. Guys, shout outs at the end of the show. Now what we do is we have the camera focused on you, and you guys give up some love to people who got you where you are today. Now don't forget anyone. And I know Mac has his little sister here. Don't forget to thank her. What I'm saying is, same thing, Mason, don't forget anybody. Don't forget a girlfriend or anything like that. Make sure you thank the people who got you where you are today. That's at the end of the show, though. Now, Brett, I almost forgot our sponsor. Ooh, I can't do that. You know why? Because I like to sleep. Do you like to sleep? We all like to sleep, right? A big thank you to our sponsor, Verlo Mattress Factory of Appleton, Green Bay, Oshkosh, Fond du Lac, and Sturgeon Bay. They're craftsmen. They manufacture your bed on site with unmatched quality and customer service. Be sure to stop in today for their mismatch sale. Now, guys, second half. We were talking about Annie. Let's talk about her, Mac, if we can. What can you tell me about her? Because she's a wrestler too, right?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about her? First of all, are you a sophomore?
Yeah.
She's a sophomore. Following in your footsteps, I guess, kind of, sort of. Well, how did this get all started with you and her?
Well, actually, you say following in my footsteps.
Or you're doing
Actually, I think I'm following in
okay.
hers now because
Okay.
she won the unofficial women's state championship.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
unofficial because it's not a WIA sport yet. Women's wrestling is not.
Okay.
So hopefully you can push and get that a sport so she
Okay.
can be wrestling down in Madison.
Right.
That'd be great. But really, I think it kind of started, she saw me as her big brother wrestling, and then she was like, why can't I do that to my parents? And then she's pretty good at it.
Okay.
And now I think she even works harder than me for wrestling. She's always just putting in the work on Sundays with her Wisconsin team, with Kevin Black wrestling. And it's really cool to see her be passionate about a sport like that.
Were you, as a big brother, were you kind of worried that she'd be doing that? Because this is I want to say it's a bit uncommon, but it's not really common to see girl wrestlers. Did you have any reservations about seeing her do that?
Not really. It was kind of just like, you can handle yourself. I trusted in her that she would be fine, and I trusted that she would get stuff done out on the mat.
Okay. Because let's be honest, it takes a special athlete to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For guys, for girls, and even more so in many ways, in my opinion. Did any other sport say, hey, we wouldn't mind you trying to play basketball or anything? Because, to be a wrestler, you got to be quite the athlete. Did you think about that too for her?
I feel like if she did play basketball, she would do pretty well, I think.
Okay.
Because she's just a good athlete. But I think wrestling is her
That's
real
her passion.
Yeah.
That's her passion. You know what? I'm going to have a story upcoming on both Mac and Annie in the near future, as I'm going to interview them both after the show about that. Great story, Brett, with these two, the family wrestling legacy crossing genders. Brett, do you have something?
Yeah, we've got a few on the chat. Let's go to Cameron again for both guys. Biggest inspiration in life and in wrestling? Tough question there.
There you go, Mason.
Alrighty, I'm just gonna say coaches, parents, and my uncles. My uncle's pushing me. He owns his own gym out in Denver, and just I go out there and train with him in the summer.
Wow, amazing. Okay.
So he started up his own business, which got me into wanting to go exercise science-wise. So school-wise, he's kind of an inspiration that way, kind of what I want to do.
Okay.
And then wrestling-wise, just my coaches and my parents always pushing me.
Outstanding, good stuff. Okay, how about for you?
I would say for life, my biggest inspiration is Jesus.
Right.
And that kind of goes into wrestling. Even if I lose, I want to be the guy who's helping the dude off the mat and give him a hug after. But for wrestling, what really inspires me is just all my teammates and my coaches that are there just believing in me. And I really want to just bring glory and honor to them and show people Xavier Wrestling can be up there with the greats. And hopefully I can do my best to make them happy.
Okay, good stuff, great stuff. Brett, you have something else?
Yeah, here's a good one. This is from 2 Point Takedown, by the way.
All right.
Is there a misconception about wrestling that you guys would like to clear up for the people who might have a misunderstanding about the sport?
Yeah, okay, right. So we all kind of know misconceptions about wrestling. You guys are just in your rubber suits and you guys running around trying to lose weight. What are some maybe things that kind of misconceptions, but sometimes they might bother you guys a little bit about people think about wrestlers? Mason, does anything kind of come to your mind at all? See, but he comes from Kaukauna, which is that is their thing there, But nothing comes to mind though.
Not really, no.
Okay, all right. Does that question resonate with you at all, Mac?
Like, I feel a lot of people maybe think that like wrestlers are just like a bunch of meatheads or stuff
all right.
running around just like basically fighting each other.
Okay.
I feel like you can be pretty refined and do refined things and still wrestle, in that you can have one sort of mindset when you get out on the mat and then have a whole different one off the mat, which is great. You want to be the best person you can off the mat, helping people, but when you get on the mat, then it's time to go.
Now, do you find that that's when I think sometimes people do think that it's not cerebral in a way, but think about how many counter moves and moves that you guys have to do. How much of that do people not know about? And we'll get your thoughts on this too, Mason, that it is a tactitious kind of game, right?
Yeah. And like you can be the best, strongest, fastest guy on the mat, but if somebody who is close to you, maybe below you, but has better technique, he'll beat you, he'll get you. And like in a sport like this where everything's on the line at all times, just having somebody know one more move than you can make the biggest difference.
Wow, well said. How about for you, Mix?
I'm gonna go off of that too. Just being a technician kind of thing is big and helpful. Kind of going all year round. If you're a one sport athlete, just constantly wrestling, getting your technique better and better, and kind of helps you overall.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Brett, you have something else from all?
Yeah, let's keep doing this. Xavier fan checking in. So this question's from Mac, but is Xavier pushing for a Bay Conference team title next year? And who will be the hardest team to beat besides Xavier? I guess they're already looking forward to it.
Boy, they already got a lot
season.
of accolades for you. Yeah. You'll be entering your senior year. Go ahead, Mac.
Well, that's the goal next year, is to win the conference title. That would be amazing, and I think we have a shot to do it. In the past 2 years, Shawano's been the force to beat.
Okay.
I'm not really not too well informed on how the teams will be next year, but definitely like Shawano right now is what I would think would be continue their tradition of conference titles. But all the other schools are tough.
Okay.
West Appear too.
Yeah.
They're always good.
Okay. Heck of a story if that were to happen, to go from three wrestlers not too long ago to a full-blown conference title. Brett, you have something else?
Let's keep it going, but do we even need to ask if Kaukauna is going to win the FBA
Yeah, I know,
next
right?
year?
They have done.
That's a foregone
How
conclusion,
many conference
right?
championships you guys won? It's in the 20s in a row, right?
Well, this year with our 25th conference title,
Yeah.
we've won half of the FBA conference championships now.
Yeah,
with
that's
it being
right.
our 50th year
Yeah,
anniversary.
so they won their 25th. There's 50. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That one out of every two championships in the FBA has been Kaukauna. Outstanding. Brett, you have something
Yeah, let's
else?
do this. Mr. Groyle fan now. Again, Mac, can you talk about, apparently you have a connection to Ellsworth Wrestling, another wrestling powerhouse?
Ellsworth, right.
So my mom is originally from Ellsworth.
Okay.
And she, like, growing up in Ellsworth is obviously a really, really good wrestling tradition. And she played basketball, and they actually won state in basketball, which is just kind of funny.
Okay.
But it's just like every single time I go there, I'm at my grandpa's house or at the Pierce County Fair. It's like always gets brought up wrestling.
Yes.
Oh, because it's kind of a smaller town.
Yes.
It's just like somehow there's wrestling thrown in there.
Okay.
It's neat.
Do they sometimes wonder, boy, Mac, you really could have been a big part of our team if you maybe you would stay with where your mom's from, right?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
But it's still like, it would be maybe, like, thinking about it, it would be interesting to grow up in a town like that,
Right.
where wrestling is the biggest thing.
Yeah, Ellsworth. I want to say, did Freedom beat Ellsworth last year for the D2 title? I'm just going off of memory here, but I do remember Ellsworth being there all the time. Brett, do you have something else? Nope. Okay. Interesting stuff. We talked about Annie. How would you describe your wrestling style, Mason? How could you give it to me in a couple sentences? Like, how would you describe it?
I like to be the offensive guy.
Okay.
Really like to go out there and kind of hammer on the guy, wear him down, and just kind of get to my stuff. I really am big on technique and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I like to be offensive.
Okay. Mac, how about for you?
Well, I don't really want to give too much away,
No,
but
don't. Be
yeah,
very
I don't
general
wanna,
if you
don't
can.
want to give my secret move away.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Just aggressive wrestling.
Okay.
Just powerful weight room wrestling,
Okay.
and try to use technique as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times it's just bringing it down to I've spent more time in the weight room.
Brute
and
strength. Brute
Yeah.
strength more so. Okay. All right, interesting stuff. Rituals and superstitions. Now, this is something that I always bring up, and I always get interesting answers from this. We'll start over here with Mac. Do you do anything specific to get ready for a match? You got to listen to some music, maybe some Bieber. Do you got to listen to anything, or you got to eat something before? Or?
Like I like to listen to music and kind of pace around.
Okay.
Like usually like Metallica or
Okay, all right,
Pantera,
sure. All
some
right.
heavy music, and then then when it's time to wrestle, then I get my singlet up, I get my headgear on, go to the table, then I run out and I do the sign of the cross
Sure.
because I'm a Catholic, and then I always pray before the match when I'm putting on my ankle tape, and I think it really helps me, and it really put my faith in God.
Okay. All right, good stuff. How about for you, Mason? Do you have any kind of pregame thing or pre-match thing?
All I really do is just kind of put my headphones on, listen to my music, kind of just get in a zone, drill with my partner, kind of. That's
Okay.
about it.
All right, good stuff. Brett, do you have something from online? Do you guys have any advice for younger grapplers? It wasn't too long where you guys were the ones that were kind of growing up, and I know some of you have connections with some of the younger wrestlers now in your programs, but Mason, do you any advice, if you could give some young kid advice, some 6th or 7th grader right now coming through the program?
I'd say just to stick with it, and if you keep with it long enough and trust your gut and trust your coaches, you're going to do great.
Okay, all right, Mac.
Yeah, I would say wrestling is one of those sports where it kind of really can make you better at any other sport.
Okay,
Whether
interesting.
it's in football as hand placement, stuff like that, or if it's just other sports where it requires you to be tough and conditioned.
Okay.
It'll really keep you in shape, and really never let a match define you.
Okay.
If you wrestle a bad match and you lose and you wrestle terribly, that's fine. You'll live another day and you'll be able to get out on the mat and keep going.
Okay.
And just use that to work harder.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Well said for both of you. Brett, you have something?
Yeah, let's do this one. Tom 2 Mason, in an individual sport, how does the team aspect help you improve throughout the season?
I think a big part of that with dual team wrestling, if the guy before you gets a big pin in a match, just kind of boost you for that next match. With our lightweights being a powerhouse that we are right now, I think we all just kind of feed off of each other as individuals. One person gets a big pin, the next person just kind of carries it on. We just kind of feed off of each other's energy match to match.
Yeah, do you guys feel like a lot of responsibility on your shoulder because the lower weights at Kaukauna are seen as the strength of the team?
I don't really think there's that much of a weight on our shoulder. I think we all have trust in each other.
Okay.
We all know throughout our lineup we're just pretty solid throughout. I think we all trust one another and know that we all can get the job done if it's counted on us.
Well said. Brett, do you have something else?
Let's do this one. Good question here, kind of a fun one by Matt Man. It's the day of the match, and you need to lose 1 pound fast. How will you drop the weight? There you go.
Okay. All right. We'll start with Mason.
I'm gonna get on that treadmill and get running.
Okay. Fair enough. Mac?
You know, actually, I've never actually been in that situation. I've always been good. I'm blessed, really, to be able to eat what I want to.
Okay.
I'm always right, up there, but never over, really.
Okay.
But if I was to do something, I'd probably bundle up and just, like he said, just start get running.
So you can basically eat whatever you want, and you're fine. See, I'm one of those guys who can eat whatever they want and get real chubby.
Yeah.
I don't have that power anymore. Do you have something else, Brett?
No,
from
that's
online?
it.
Okay. Before we go to our shout-outs, most memorable moment for you thus far. Well, we want to keep it on wrestling, guys, okay? So most memorable moment for you wrestling-wise, Mac?
Probably just winning the 5th place match.
Okay.
That was probably one of the coolest parts of my life, as far as just working really hard, getting there, and then coming home with something for
Okay.
my team and for everyone that supported me. That just meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to them too.
Okay, how about for you, Mason?
I'm gonna go back to my freshman year with us winning team state.
Okay.
Just being a freshman and knowing that this is what Kaukauna wrestling is kind of all about, and that we can be something great, and just kind of push you throughout these past 4 years so far.
Mac, I did want to ask you, where did the nickname Truck come from? Where did that go? Is that just the following Mac Truck kind of like thing?
So my dad was coaching football at Xavier when I was really young. I was just kind of screwing around with tackling dummies on the
Okay.
sidelines at
Gotcha.
practice, and some of the high schoolers were like, "Oh wow, he's hitting like a Mac Truck,"
Okay.
kind of as just a joke, and I think it sounds really cool, and it kind of stuck, and
Okay.
now it's kind of just something that I can use, that some in the weight room be like, come on truck,
Yep.
help motivate me.
See, so when little kids are playing with other things or playing in the playground, he's tackling dummies. That's what Mac here, Mac Tran was doing. Guys, it's time for our shout-outs. Now, Rosie, which camera are they looking at? Looking at that one right there. Okay, so I will start farthest over to my right. So Mac, this is where I do want you to look into that camera right there. Give some love out to people who got you where you are today. Don't forget anybody. I don't want to get you in the doghouse. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I just want to shout out to Coach Groyle, Coach Van Eckenvoort, Coach Hippis, Coach Verbumen, Coach Marshall, Coach Kleinschmidt for coming in and helping our team from Aviators Wrestling. I want to shout out to my partner at 285, Jacob Earl, who will be wrestling at sectionals this week. I want to shout out to all the people that have been coming in after their season's done, helping me wrestle and pushing me. All the kids that have been by my side, on my team, working as hard as they can, putting everything they have into it. Shout out to my parents for raising me and letting me wrestle.
Smart.
And shout out to all my aunts and uncles that have been keeping up with me. It means a lot to me to get texts on the day of matches that are like, hey Mac, good luck tonight. We're rooting for you. Probably like shout out to my sister too.
There we go.
Big shout out for sticking with women's wrestling and being part of that movement. Shout out to women's wrestling too, because they really could use you guys as support to get a WIA sport. Also, I want to say shout out to Coach Black, who is in charge of women's Wisconsin wrestling with my sister. I haven't met the guy, but I've been always hearing great things from him, from my sister and my parents, and I just love what he's doing with the whole sport.
All right, great stuff. That's pretty thorough there. You got something to live up to there, Mason. Go ahead. Your shout outs, my friend.
I just want to give a general shout out to my family, parents for introducing me to the sport. In a combined family, all together we have 9 of us.
Mhm.
My oldest brother being Robert, helping me get me ready throughout the year, training with me in the off season. All my coaching staff for pushing me even on those tough days, just kind of helping me get through it. There's always those moments where you kind of have a down day, kind of picking you up and pushing you through that practice. And then my drill partner, Jada Verhagen,
Sure.
just pushing me and pushing each other back and forth throughout these past 4 years, just kind of helping each other get to where we want to be.
Yeah, another outstanding wrestler, Jaden Verhagen. So good stuff. Here's my last question, guys, as we wrap things up. Brett, you don't have anything else from online, do you? Look, you guys want to get back to the Kohl Center. I'm going to be at the Kohl Center. I cover, the state wrestling, especially Championship Saturday, one of my favorite days ever in the entire year is Championship Saturday, when the guys all walk out and stuff like that. What's it going to take for you guys to get to Championship Saturday in your respective weight classes? I'm going to start here with Mason and end it with Matt.
I think I'm gonna have to go out there and just be aggressive, get to my stuff, know that I can do what I need to do to get to state and just win that sectional.
Okay. Mac?
Just wrestle one match at a time. That's what I did last year. That's what I'm doing this year. And if I do that, and I look at every single kid as just a guy who wants to win as much as I do, and realize that it's just going to come down to the battle of the wills, I think I can give it my best shot.
Okay, great stuff. Yeah, again here, one more time, wrapping it up with Xavier's Max Strand and Kaukauna's Mason Campshire. Just want to let everyone know, next week's show we're going to have more wrestlers on as we kind of complete, as they'll be preparing for the state meet. I'll let you know real quick on social media, on Twitter, that kind of stuff, who's going to be our next guest. But really proud to have, again, both Mac and Mason on the big show. So for Mac, for Mason, for me, Ricardo, don't forget about Rosie over there, and Brett Christofferson. And don't forget about Annie sitting on the sidelines here. I'm going to be talking to her very soon. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of the Varsity Roundtable. Follow us again on Facebook at facebook.com/Varsity Roundtable. So again, till next week, everyone have a great week out there. And tune in next week for another episode of the Varsity Roundtable.